So there's a rumor that's been around for quite a while, and I haven't touched it yet because I was trying to find more information and more sources regarding this rumor, but I've decided to finally talk about it. So apparently, there's a new rumor coming out that Disney's Indiana Jones series has now officially been scrapped, and that's because Lucasfilm needs to focus on more Star Wars content or just Star Wars as a whole. I don't know if this is necessarily true. I haven't read this article yet, and I've heard this rumor before as of a couple weeks ago. And I'm curious to see what this article has to say from Bounding into Comics. So let's get into it. So it says a new rumor claims that the rumored Indiana Jones TV series for Disney Plus will not be seeing the light of day. Now, before we get further into it, it wouldn't surprise me if this is true because Disney has been canceling a lot of their TV shows. I made a video recently about Marvel Studios officially delaying all of their projects. Every single project has been delayed and is now just with a coming soon sign instead of expected dates when they were supposed to come out. So they don't want to commit to any date for these shows to come out. So they made everything coming soon. So they've basically delayed every single show that was supposed to come out on Disney Plus on the Marvel side. So it wouldn't surprise me if Indiana Jones has also either been canceled or delayed because they need to focus on the bigger stuff. So it says back in November 2022, Joe Otterson at Variety reported that an Indiana Jones TV series was in the works at Disney Plus. Otterson wrote, Disney is actively looking to develop an Indiana Jones TV show for Disney Plus. Variety has learned exclusively from sources. Now, again, I gotta tell you, a lot of this pop culture stuff, there's a lot of quote unquote sources that people get their information from, and almost all of it seems like bullshit. I never see any of it come true, almost, for the most part. There are some that do come true, and I'm not saying Variety is one that is bullshit or not. All I'm saying is it's amazing how people can literally say anything as a rumor and then double down with the fact that they have sources, even though they don't never have to name the sources, obviously, they never have to prove it, and if it's wrong, they could just blame the sources instead of themselves. So it says he went on to state the Mouse House and Lucasfilm have specifically been bringing up the possibility of a streaming show set in the world of the globe-trotting archaeologist in general meetings with writers of late, sources say. However, at the time of his report, a writer was not attached to the show and there were no plot details available. It appears that project is now dead in the water given the latest rumor from the Ankler reporter and below-the-line editor Jeff Snyder. Snyder tweeted, rumor, the Ravenwood Indiana Jones series at Lucasfilm is not moving forward, and furthermore, I've heard that Disney has told Lucasfilm to focus on Star Wars going forward, hence the cancellation of Willow. Now that I would 100% believe because we did see the official cancellation of Willow, and that would kind of lead to believe that this is true when it comes to focusing on Star Wars. Disney's crutch has always been Star Wars ever since they bought out Lucasfilms. They make so much money off of the stuff in Star Wars, like with their parks, merchandise, their movies, not so much, because people just honestly didn't like their movies. The latest trilogy just completely destroyed people's love for movies, on top of the fact that the TV shows on Disney Plus have been pretty terrible overall, and not too many people are into it. Andor, a lot of people say we're good, but unfortunately it didn't get the viewership that it needed in order for it to be successful, so it just had to be sold off to other streaming services. And The Mandalorian Season 3, unfortunately, is not getting the same level of viewership as the first and second season, especially after the whole Gina Carano fiasco. So, again, there's so much going on with Star Wars, and there's so much that needs to be fixed. Me personally, I don't care. I've said it multiple times. I'm tapped out when it comes to Star Wars. I refuse to give them any credence. I refuse to give them any viewership whatsoever, simply because I know regardless of what I watch, it doesn't matter how good the TV show is. It doesn't matter how good The Mandalorian is. It doesn't matter how good Andor is. It doesn't matter how good Kenobi was. All of it is going to lead to the new sequel trilogy, of which everybody hates, nobody likes it, and I am sick of it. I just don't want to give them the time of day. But I understand there's people out there that need their Star Wars, and that's fine. If you want to experience that and watch that, you're more than welcome to do so. I'll never tell you not to watch it. I'm just telling you, me personally, I'm not going to. So it says this rumor comes after Disney CEO Bob Iger made it clear the company would be making significant cuts to the amount of content it was producing for Disney Plus, and also raised concerns about the quality of the programming the various studios under Disney, including Lucasfilm, were creating. And we've talked about that multiple times. Obviously, the quality of the TV shows and the movies have been extremely subpar. It's almost to the point where it's painful to watch some of this stuff. The CGI is fucking god awful. I don't know how they are getting away with producing this level of quality when the first three phases of Marvel and Disney as a whole prior with some of their remakes and whatnot was so much better than what's coming out over the last few years. The last few years have really seen a tremendous downgrade in terms of overall quality and what people have come to expect from Marvel or Disney or even Star Wars. Although Star Wars has always, for the most part, looked pretty good. And I think that's because Lucasfilm takes a lot of the budget when it comes to CGI. But Marvel is looking god awful. Disney's live action remakes, or the remakes in general, are not looking very good. Some of the stuff, especially like Little Mermaid, for example, looks very washed out, no pun intended, and it just doesn't look good. Does it look okay? Sure. Does it look good? No, not really. Not in all scenarios anyway. Some scenes just look really, really bad. So it says, during an appearance at Morgan Stanley Conference, Iger told those in attendance, "I'm really pleased that the support that I'm getting from the content creators of the company is significant and real, and it comes in the form of reducing the expense per content, whether it's a TV series or a film, where costs have just skyrocketed in a huge way and not a supportable way, in my opinion." They all agree to that. And I'm glad he at least admitted it, because we've been saying time and time again that Disney cannot support this nonsense for too long. Their identity politics ruined themselves with a lot of people. That's number one. Number two, their quality is so subpar that the people that they've managed to keep, or the people that manage to continue to consume their content and keep giving them second chances, they're going to lose those people eventually to the inferior product that they're producing. So first off, you lost a ton of people for your identity politics. Second off, you're losing a ton of people because the product that you're putting out is terrible and is not going to keep the people who decided to stick around for much longer. So you have a big problem here, and it's not supportable. On top of the fact that your content costs so much money to make, your budgets are out of control. We see their budgets for their movies, and they're insane. They are insane budgets, the likes of which that I don't even know how they even got that high, to be honest with you, considering that they're hiring pretty much no-name actors for most of their stuff. Obviously, some of the Marvel stuff, they have big names, but for the most part, you're hiring people that aren't really doing crazy stuff, so they can't be that expensive. So you can't say it's them. You gotta say, like, wow, what could be causing such a massive, massive budget? You can't even blame CGI anymore, because CGI, you've said that you've cut the budget so much on CGI, so I don't really know what's costing them so much money. He says he went on to reveal it's not just about understanding how much volume we need, we also need to reducing how much we make. So it's how much we spend on what we make and how much we make. So he went on to make it crystal clear that he will be reducing the amount of content that the Walt Disney Company produces, and as we look to reduce the content that we're creating for our own platforms, there probably are opportunities to license to third parties. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if Indiana Jones is one of those shows that they decided to cancel. And then he mentioned Star Wars, and he said, Star Wars, we made 3 what we called saga films, which is obviously the successors to George Lucas's first 6. They did very well at the box office, tremendously well, as a matter of fact. We've made 2 so-called standalones in Rogue One and Solo. Rogue One did quite well. Solo was a little disappointing to us. It gave us pause just to think maybe the candidates was a little too aggressive, and so we decided to pull back a bit. We are still developing Star Wars films. We're going to make sure that when we make one, that it's the right one, so we are being very careful there, he declared. It might be too little too late for Star Wars fans have been completely abandoning the once cultural juggernaut. Recent reports about The Mandalorian indicate viewers are quickly abandoning the show's 3rd season. The show received its worst user rating on IMDb for Chapter 19, The Convert. And honestly, I think people are abandoning, even though I know they're trying to link it to something that's recent now, people have been abandoning Star Wars for a very, very long time now. There's so many people that I know of that have been such hardcore, die-hard Star Wars fans that have decided to completely walk away, do a 180, and just say, forget it. I don't even care. I'm not interested. It doesn't matter what you come out with. It doesn't matter how many times you bring back Emperor Palpatine. None of this stuff matters anymore because I just don't care. And honestly, me personally, I am in that boat. Yes, I can report on Star Wars, but I will never watch it. I will never entertain it ever again, so long as Disney has complete ownership over the IP. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy, and if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.